As mentioned in the original box opening of the Keith Titanium products, I was primarily focused and interested in the coffee and tea maker, the backpacking style titanium coffee and tea drip style maker. Now this comes in a leather case, which I think we can probably dispense with if in the field. And of course we've taken this out of the box already, and kind of moving forward with the original maker itself, looking at the components. We've got a lid, we have the tripod style holder for the mesh drip funnel, and then of course the double walled container of everything. Before we get started with that, it's only appropriate to dip over to the carbon fiber humidor and might as well get started in the proper fashion. And of course with our Voodoo Lounge cigar from SHOT Show. Not a better match, in my perhaps not so humble opinion, as a Maduro cigar with coffee. The coffee in question will be very dark Italian roast, and of course highlighting with the titanium spoon, the demi spoon, made of course by Keith Titanium. We're also going to sample this new triple lighter with the angled flame, and we'll just get this started so that we, oh wow, it is actually, this is the first cigar being burned from the burn bag. First cigar being burned with this lighter in my experience, and it really does ignite the foot of that cigar quite well. Much better than a single torch or a single flame torch lighter. And Mr. Voodoo Doll looks like he's ready to go. Well done. Another nice aspect of this lighter is it's not quite too hot to hold after that significant lighting phase compared to the Brunton that I normally carry, frankly. And more on this lighter at a later time, but you know, that the Brunton has a tendency to get so hot that you just can't hold it because you have to keep compressing that button. Of course, that's for safety purposes, but a whole different storyline altogether. So getting back to our coffee maker, we take the lid off, remove the tripod holder. The lid can be used later or not at all, and we place the tripod onto the lid of the double-walled cup, and it holds it into place quite well. As you can see, it's not coming loose. It actually clamps into place. Nice feature. Then you take your funnel filter, and let's go ahead and we'll take some fresh coffee beans that were just ground and load that up. Maybe a little too much. Frankly, as mentioned earlier, I'm not really that familiar or used to using, let's take a little bit of that out, a funnel style drip coffee maker. Next step in this entire application is the introduction of hot H2O. In our case, we're going to go ahead and use a Keith Titanium double-walled demi cup. It's a cup that is utilized for the purposes of enjoying your coffee or your tea. In this case, will be coffee ground down to a very dark roast. And well, obviously in a dark roast, but ground down. We'll introduce the H2O, hopefully without much spillage. Nope, quite a bit of spillage there. I'm just going to dump it. There we go. Probably could use an actual funnel or something a little more directed for the water. Did not expect it to spill out of the cup that much. See if I can get some more hot water for this. This is dripping slowly. It's still, I guess, in essence, brewing the coffee. Get a little more spillage, but since this is our initial trial, that's what we have to contend with. Again, a bit more messy spillage, and it seems to still be filtering through. See if we can get a little better light on that. As you can see, it's dripping through. I guess this would be a drip filter. And looks like it's still saturating through, so we'll just let it continue running through its cycle. There we go. A little bit of introduction of some water without much spillage. I think we've got that hank in place. I'm not seeing any excess water coming out the sides of the filter here, of the funnel part filter. It seems to be definitely focusing its way through the center and to the bottom of the filter itself. And that's still coming through with a coffee colored drip, if you will. Certainly made quite a mess with the spillage on the sides, but well, what are you going to do, right? And we're still having some coffee filtering through this. On the top, as you can see, there's a bit of a puddle on top of those grounds. And I'm going to see about introducing just a little more water to this while it's still hot. That's about it at this point. I'm not sure on running time. I didn't time this, but we're still getting some coffee dripping through. Imagine you want to let this drip through as much as possible, and of course while it remains to be hot. And just the color and consistency of the dripping seems to still be that nice subtle caramel color, coffee color, for lack of a better description, and just a bit of puddling on the top there. Well, as if he hasn't endured enough, you got spillage as well. Touch up this cigar. I've got a little bit of an uneven burn there. Little touch-up job. Yeah. Let that continue to drip just a bit. And there's just about down to a drip every 5 to 10 seconds. I think it's probably safe to say that that's done filtering coffee at this point. Next step would be to remove. I guess you could use the lid as a catch-all. Let's back this off just a bit. So I imagine you could use the lid as a catch-all if you had to be cautious about any messy spillage. Unclamp the tripod. Place the tripod into the lid. At this point, brewed cup of coffee. Bit of a mess over there. Just go ahead and put it on the corner because, after all, that's what a hank is for. We'll introduce, in my personal preference, a little sugar in the raw, and utilize titanium demi-spoon. It's kind of like a demi-plie. Look it up. Demi-plie. Quite elegant. Not on me, of course, but quite elegant in most circumstances. Stir up our sugar in the coffee, and at this point, and in the breeze, the water had, the coffee itself has cooled a bit. It was, as you can see, it was a bit steamy. Steaming water going in, but the coffee itself is just a bit tepid, yet still quite tasty, especially in the Italian roast that we had therein. Beautiful stuff, the Italian roast, right? Okay, so other than my mechanical error in introducing the H2O and using the wrong type, obviously this is for sipping, not for pouring. We've just identified that for future reference. I do like the ergonomics of the cup and the container for this coffee maker. I don't know if this is a bevel or basically it's in general the shape. I like that. It also makes it a little easier to hold. The fact that it's double walled, don't know if it's vacuum sealed or not, but that could be an issue. That may have helped to lessen the ability for it to retain its heat from going through the funneling process of the filter. However, that said, we are in a bit of a breezy area, and that may be attributed to that. So, as far as form and function is concerned, the coffee maker performed quite well. Got a little bit of a drippage there. Obviously, it's going to be filtering through the remainder of that coffee. And other than just temperature retention, it does feel cool on the bottom, much cooler than the coffee inside. The walls also feel normal to the touch. Definitely a lower temperature than the coffee that I just sipped inside. So at this point, I'm going to hazard the guess that the temperature conservation of the double wall is functioning properly. So, great cigar, great coffee, and salute.